How you doing?
Oh, what's going on? How you feeling? Can you hear me? Okay, okay, we back.
We back? You can
We
hear me
back.
good?
Yes, we can hear you. All right.
Okay, awesome. Okay, we were talking about Full Sail, right?
Yes.
Huh? Okay.
Okay. Now
So, huh? Can you hear me?
I can definitely hear you.
Okay.
I can.
So, Full Sail, taught me more about the theory and learning the different scales and how to communicate with an artist correctly and basically all the skills that I may need in the industry. They help me. Um, they teach the business part of everything. So they teach you how to come up with contracts or agreements and basically how to start out your business and your work as a producer or engineer, whatever career path that you choose. So yeah, there was a lot to learn. There were some things that I knew already, but it was a great learning process.
Definitely. How much of what you learned in school that you apply to your everyday life now?
Oh, a lot. Definitely a lot. There's a lot of things that I made that I may or may not have noticed when first creating it. So there's probably like a song that has too much bass in it, and it's kind of like giving off that home sound. You can't hear anything else. And then I go back to it after going to full sound. I'm just like, oh, that's a lot. Like that's a lot. And then when you learn about mixing and all that stuff, it's just I noticed this. I know the problem. I can fix it now, and I can get things done more professionally now for distribution on platforms.
That's what's up. So when you were coming up in school, like high school, I'm saying now,
Okay.
did you do beats for people around the way?
So you said did I give beats? Like did I sell beats at the time?
Well, yeah. Did you actually do do beats for artists around the way?
Um, in high school, I did not. That all started during and after college. High school, I was more experimenting and figuring out my path in music production. And I would like make something and like let my friends hear it, and sometimes I would let my teachers hear it and see what they would think. And I always had positive feedback from them. They'll probably teach me some stuff or critique me on certain things, and it was always something that I took and I learned from, and I said, okay, maybe I could do something different. Maybe I can do this, and I thought that was kind of something that I needed just to boost myself and say, oh, this is definitely something I'm doing right. I'm doing this. This is something I want to do. So yeah.
Yeah. Now that's what's up. That one thing is to work and do something that you love because it's really not work anymore. You know what I mean? It's actually just something that you have passion for. Once you have passion for something, sky's the limit. You know.
Yeah.
So who would you say? Well, I would say, give me a story. Not who would you say? Don't say their name. But give me a story about a time where this is your session, you're in a session with an artist, and you're actually listening to a record, and you can hear everything wrong with it, but they don't hear what you hear, and they try to tell you how to mix the record.
That's fun. There's quite a few.
Give me a good one.
So okay. So I believe this was in this was in college, and a lot of a lot of the times, we would produce stuff, and they would hold like a panel for like the students and teachers to come sit down. We stand on stage with our equipment and we play what we have. So one day there was this one guy that went onto the stage and played his song. So at the session is basically you're helping them with the mix and stuff like that. So there was basically like a huge studio and stuff like that. So we work on the song and critique as well. So he plays a song, and literally everything that he had on the song was out of tune. Some of the things were off time. There were things that just did not need to be there. He had a very weird tag, producer tag, um, and I it was a very shocking experience, because you would think that no one would be on stage to, like, you bring your best, and for him to think that was his best.
He wasn't bringing his best. It was horrible. Say it. You can say it's trash. It was trash, right? Throw it in the trash, right?
Something that belongs in a dumpster somewhere. Um,
That's what
but I tried hard to keep my poker face and not laugh at it, because
yeah.
I'm in professionals and other people working on this song. So I had to critique on something. So I was telling him that there was stuff out of tune. He was like, "What are you talking about? If it goes and the rhythm is good, it doesn't matter." And I'm just like, that's not how that works at all. And we were trying to explain that to him, but apparently he thought he was on top of the world. So there was nothing there was nothing you can do in that moment, because when someone thinks that they're on top of the world and people are telling him and encouraging that behavior, because it happens to a lot of people, professional or not, and people feel that, oh, there's no one that can touch me, and their music sucks, like sucks. And it's kind of sad to see and hear, but it happens, and it's hard to like take them down a notch, because there's so many people encouraging behavior that is trash, basically. So there was nothing we can do at that point, and I just laughed afterwards and went on with the rest of my day. Hence the music we have today. Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of trash out there, but it's a lot of good stuff too. You just have to sift through the trash.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out. It's just a lot of hotheads out there that can't really do anything about, unfortunately.
Have you ever had anybody criticize your mix? Talk about that.
in this business and in this industry, everyone critiques everything, no matter if it's good, no matter if it's bad. As long as they get to critique something and feel that they're teaching you something, right. That's right. All matters to them. So there's plenty of occasions where I would send a mix, and I would finish the mix. I would have people hear it, and I would listen to it in a car. I have my studio. I have other people listen to it in their systems and stuff, and they say it sounds great. And then after it's sent, they come back and say, I didn't like this, that, or the third, and that's too loud. And I'm listening back. I'm like, what's wrong with it? I'm like, excuse me.
Right.
So there's a lot of people that want to critique just for the sake of being like, hey, I want things done a certain way and I want things
Yeah.
done my way and I want to take charge in some way, shape, or form. And I'm just like, if you're not happy with it, then at this point you don't deserve the track. I can automatically give it to somebody else if you don't want
Oh
it.
wow. So do you think that they was listening to it on clock radio speakers or something like that? Do you think that's what it was?
Probably.
So what give the people who may not be into the music like they just like to listen to it. Give them one of your techniques. I mean, you just said it, but give them one of your techniques to definitely test out one of your mixes. What's your first go-to?
Well, first, of course, listening to on it on speakers and headphones, because the thing is, everything gives off different frequencies, like the lows, highs, mids, and all that, and some of them boost certain things, and sometimes you hear more bass than the treble. Sometimes you hear more treble than bass. Sometimes you hear only
Right.
mids. So it depends on what you're listening to, and when I'm mixing, I want everyone to hear every uh every element in the tracks that I make. So um honestly, I my mixes on anything far as in speakers or listening to it in your car or even like the earbuds or whatever, you're going to hear everything. Especially if it does take out certain elements, you will hear a good amount of everything in it. But to test out a mix, it has to sound good everywhere. It can't just sound good on your headphones. Because a lot of times people mix in their headphones and it's kind of different from when you hear on the speakers because everything gives off something different. And that's when you have things that are being played on platforms and sometimes SoundCloud that don't really sound right because they're not mixed
Because they're
properly. They're
not
not
mixed
on.
properly. Right. Exactly. So you wouldn't say your go-to is the actual car. Your go-to is not the car first.
Um, the car first, honestly, I don't have. There's no preference to whether you listen to it on a car to it in the car or
Right.
speakers, because the way that you mix, you kind of have to think of where people or how people are listening to music.
Yeah.
So, I already know that people most likely are going to be listening to either headphones or speakers or in their. So that's mostly where I'm going to test it out on to make sure that if they're driving somewhere, that car is going to sound, the song is going to sound dope in the car and on the headphones. A lot of people listen to it on speakers, but not as much because everyone has different types of speakers and you're going to hear different things. So it's just, it's a very tricky thing to have your tracks sound good on everything, but that's kind of where the tediness comes from and how careful you have to be because you can completely drown your mix easily. It's very easy to drown your mix and ruin a whole mix, and then when you master it, that little thing that you mess up is only going to get louder.
Right. That's a whole fact. So let's get back to the production side of all of it, right? So
Yes, let's go.
who is the producer that you say that's the one who I actually want to be revered as, or that's the one I want to actually work
Um,
with? Here,
Timberland.
I'm talking about like how we look at Dr. Dre. Yeah.
Timberland. Definitely Timberland.
Hold on,
uh,
hold on. Before you answer that, how did I know Timberland?
because he's literally full.
I,
On my wall.
I thought of Timberland, but there you go. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, they,
It's
no question. Go ahead. Now tell us why.
so I remember listening to what was that song? Uh I Can't Stand the Rain with
Okay.
him, Missy Elliott. And I just thought it was interesting how different it was from everything else I was listening to. And it was like you're literally listening to a track where he has it raining and it sounds like you're in the rain listening to the song. And I was like, he thinks so much out the box with things and always loves experimenting with different sounds and sound designing and putting his mix into it. And I always say that Timbaland stole my whole style because I was into the whole Indian and Arabian type sounds, and then out of nowhere he started doing it, and I'm just like, that was my thing.
So
I was gonna bring that.
so he stole that from you, right? Timberland.
He
Somebody
stole
tagged Timberland in this joint. You know what I mean?
Timbaland. To say,
And we-
but no, he inspires me a lot, and a lot of the music that I do is like it's just wow, and you don't hear that from other producers. Another producer that inspires me is Pharrell, because we're not even going to start on his mind.
right.
It's like it's like these guys are geniuses basically, and they inspire me to think outside the box with what I do and experiment with different styles and different techniques. And I'm currently working on some EDM stuff and working on some more world traditional sounds and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and branching out and different things to bring something new to you guys. And they really do inspire me to do those things, because if I'm listening to the people of now, no offense, I wouldn't be able to get those vibes off of them, because it's kind of the same thing over and over. But if I listen to these guys and what they produce, it's definitely something that I can latch on to and be like, hey, I don't care what everyone else sounds like. I want to be me. I want to go ahead and do something weird. I want to make a weird sound. I've always been into sound design and making my own sounds and creating different like ambiance and stuff. And I've been doing that a lot more now so that I can
Yeah.
see what I'm capable of.
So now, if anybody has paid attention to the flyer that we have, and you doing the beatbox, and then you go on ahead and you built the beat around that. That's when I said Timberland all the way. You know what I'm saying? Because that's
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know that a lot of that's how a lot of producers do their music when they can't find the right drum, but they hear something in their head. So when I saw that, I said, "Oh, she's ill. She's ill." You know, and I didn't look at it as she's copying somebody. I'm just saying, yo, you could do that too, and actually construct the beat behind that, because you starting off with that was actually your drum, the beatbox. You know what I'm saying?